Hey, hey, we are back. Welcome back to Live. Why does my chat look like that at the bottom? Good question. I guess that's what happens when you've been traveling and stuff. Things stop working. All right. Anyway, it's good to be back. Been a little inconsistent lately with the streaming just because I've been in San Francisco a couple times over the past 3 weeks. But that said, let's get to it. But I am curious what's up with the chat here. Chat interactions. We're gonna edit the OBS live for a second here. Okay, no, that's good. Guest info. I seem to be missing my chat for some reason. Let's go check in the pairing. Yeah, okay, it's gone everywhere. Okay, interesting. Uh, all right. Let's see here. Weird. Okay, no, it's here. So maybe it needs to be brought to the front. Hold on a sec. Just gonna check in OBS here. Okay, that's the chat. Let's go to pairing for a second and let's just load it up. Okay, the chat seems to be there. If I do, okay, let me just click OK. Let's refresh it maybe. No. Okay, there. Weird. It's back. Okay. Cool, cool. And we can just do a test message. Hey, we got chat back. And to activate, please enable channels here. Okay, what's going on? Yeah, I know I'm live. All the channels are enabled, so what's going on? Let's just go to, well, whatever. I guess I just can't use the chat in there, but let me see. Yeah, no, all the channels are up, so I don't know what's up. I'll just use instead of the restream chat that's right in OBS, I'll just go with just the browser. So let me load that up then. So let's do nickit.live/chat. That's for Twitch. Hey, Jeff, good to see you, man. Um, let's get x.com up there, and let's get Blue Sky. All right. What's people saying on X? Okay, thank you for the follow, Ignito Coach. All right, cool. All right. Anyways, let's move this off screen. But I can give a bit of context first. So uh, I actually gave this talk at the MCP Dev Summit. Um, where is it? Let's just go to YouTube, and I'll drop this in the chat. But MCP Dev Summit. Let's look for OAuth. All right, cool. So I'll drop this in the chat and then I'll take this off screen. But this is a talk I gave at not at the MCP Dev Summit, but it was, yeah. I'll just drop it there. I guess weird that I can't just drop it elsewhere, but oh, we should drop it over on YouTube too, I guess. So let's go to YouTube. Always fun when you've been out of the mix for a bit. YouTube Nicotine Online. Let's go. Yeah, I'm live. Let's turn that off and mute that. I'll wait till the chat loads up, but I'll drop it over there too. Let's take that off screen. Okay, boom. Let's close that. Okay. All right. Um, yeah, I'm a little out of whack today. Okay, close all that stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so yeah, so I gave that talk that I dropped in the chat, and I'll drop it in YouTube too. Let's see here. One sec. Where'd you go? Okay, chat's available now. Hey, what's up, Light? Good to see you. Thanks for joining over on YouTube. I'll sort out my OBS aggregated chat later, but for now, cool. All right, so I dropped that everywhere. And in fact, we can probably just go drop that over on LinkedIn too. Funny thing with LinkedIn, I don't know what is up, but I can't comment on my own live stream. Like when people say, "Hey, how's it going?" I literally cannot comment. You can see it here. Actually, I'm gonna say drop the YouTube video, failed to post comment. So then what I do is I just go to the actual event, but I'll have to do it after. There we go. No, I can't even add it there. It's in the events, but basically, it's this video. People, if you oh, wow, I didn't even notice they did that, cool animation there. Anyways, so, yeah, MCPs are kind of like the, I guess, new hotness in, AI land. I attended the MCP Dev Summit, and, like, just for some context what this is, and I'll give that a oh, I'm logged in as Pomerium, but here, let's switch back to my account. But basically yeah, okay, thank you, commercials. Okay, we don't need that. Um The model context protocol, I'll just go ahead and drop this here. It's kind of like a new protocol standard for just intercommunication uh, between like agents, and also just it's a way to either enhance the context in whatever uh, client you're using. So like Claude or ChatGPT or even VS Code Insiders has this now, and I can even show you that too. Um, but um, basically, there wasn't really much security in the model context protocol, and I'm going to drop this in the chat. And then they added OAuth 2.1. My old coworker, actually, Dan Dilimarsky, who works at Microsoft now, I worked with him at Netlify. He helped work on the OAuth spec. Here's the specification. Do they talk about OAuth in here? They must. I'll search in here. OAuth. Okay, this is under the spec. Yeah, authorization flow. There we go. This is in terms of OAuth. Drop that too, and I'll go drop that over on in Slack as well. Cool. Not Slack. I can't speak today. Twitch. Anyways, so basically now, like for example, if you I guess when the model context protocol started, it's really new. It only came out last November. This was created by Anthropic, and basically they were just looking at a way to standardize things. Like if we go back to the intro here, it's pretty much this: a protocol that standardizes how applications provide context to LLMs. And they keep saying, think of MCP like the USB-C port for AI applications, because we still have dongles, but USB-C has kind of become the standardized way, at least until they decide to give us more dongles, I guess. Anyways, yeah. So this has been out. It's pretty fresh, and then there was this MCP Dev Summit that had the privilege of attending. Um, Yeah, it was over here. The videos are up now, I believe. Well, yeah, they are because I just showed you mine. But this was like the first time they hosted this, and it was a really great summit. Got to see some old coworkers and friends, but also just hear about all the good stuff going on. There was people from like Anthropic, OpenAI, Bloomberg, PayPal, Block. Like my friend Angie Jones, people from Microsoft, my old coworker Den, like I was saying. Anyways, it was just really cool to be at like the first conference for it. Like they'll definitely do another one, I believe. It's from the people at Acorn that ran this, but just lots of great talks talking about like where the project is going. There's going to be an MCP registry coming out. Just people talking about how they're using MCP, like Block, for example, where Angie works. They've kind of gone all, not kind of, they've gone all in on MCPs, and they have a open source product called Goose, which I haven't used as much as I should, but I have used it a bit. I've just been super busy with stuff, but I'll drop that in the chat too. But Goose is pretty neat too. This is what you would call like a MCP client to some degree. Like basically, as soon as you support MCP servers, you are an MCP client, I would say. Let's go drop that over on YouTube as well. And I'm just realizing I'm posting as Pomerium in my chat as well. Nothing bad, but I will switch my account. Switch to there. Cool. Anyways, all those links were me posting them, obviously, but this is the funny thing when you manage corporate accounts. Make sure you're not on them. Luckily, it's not like I was doing it. Well, not that I do anything shady to begin with, really, but just good to be on the right channels. Cool. So yeah, so I dropped all that there. So like Goose, you can see, I don't know if I have it wired up right now with a provider. I think I do, but I can bring this over here. And do I have, okay, I think I'm connected. I got Olama too. Yeah, sure. So Quen 2.5, sure. So this is an open source model. So let's, I don't know. So basically think of this like a local chat GPT, but it has access to other stuff. Like you can access like your file system and so on. But, you know, we can say like, what is a B tree? And I'm my llama model, which is running locally. So basically I'm not paying anything at this point except for like electricity. Goose is working on it. I can zoom this in, I think, because it's an Electron app. There we go. Now the local models are slower, and I'm actually not sure if, yeah, Olama is running, but what's it doing? Oh, it's saying there's an update. Okay. Well, this is not a good example of me showcasing Goose because I don't think I'm configured properly at the moment. But let's see if I switch back to. I can't remember. Okay, yeah, I think I should be okay. I'm pretty sure my API key's in here. If it isn't, I'll set it up later. But basically, you can wire up local models. You can wire up. Oh, there we go. I did have my OpenAI API key. That's always hard to say. OpenAI API. All right, cool. Anyways, that's a lot of preamble to say. What's this message? Cool. That's a lot of preamble to say. Let me close this. Let's close this. Boom, 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 boom. Basically, well, there's a couple things. So Pomerium is a great option to secure MCP servers. Is kind of what I'm getting at. So there's the OAuth flow, which I mentioned. Which if you're gonna connect to something upstream like a GitHub or like a Linear or Notion, whatever, um, you need to have that bit, and you need to implement that in your remote MCP server or your, well, it doesn't have to be a I guess it technically doesn't have to be a remote MCP server, but regardless, your MCP server has to have OAuth 2.1 if you're going to connect to one of those services. Um, so what we've been doing is like this is kind of think of this as like a slimmed down chat GPT. This is something that for the most part I built out, but also my coworker Dennis helped out as well, and my coworker Zayu came in at the 25th hour to do a couple tweaks while I was flying to San Francisco because I was at the AI World Fair last week. But anyways, this is basically wired up to OpenAI, so I can choose from the models I have access to here, and I can ask questions. And we also have these are some remote MCP servers that my coworker Dennis has implemented, and these are deployed. And so I just check in chat real quick. Hey, learner 0418, good to see you, my man. I was kind of giving a whirlwind tour of MCP, and just I've been busy, I've been traveling and stuff, but I'm back. So yeah. So what I'm showing here, and this is open source actually, MCP app demo. Feel free to grab this, fork it. You do this works with Pomerium, so there's instructions about that, and you do need an OpenAI API key. But feel free to fork and have some fun with this. I'll drop this in the chat as well. Bu- bu- yeah, cool. Drop that over there. I'll drop that over on YouTube as well. Cool. All right. But yeah, essentially, this is uh, in a nutshell the tech stack here. This is Tan Stack Start, usual suspects, Shad CN Tailwind, and we're using the OpenAI responses API. So that's kind of pretty much what's in here. And again, this is not a full fledged like chat GPT clone because, well, one, this was for demo purposes, but I mean, we could make it like full fledged, like I could add chats and save them and stuff. It's just that wasn't on the roadmap for this. This was really to showcase at the AI World Fair that we were at last week. Um, oh, thanks for the follow. I just missed who that was. I got too many screens open. Oh, Callie, I missed it, but I just saw it. Thank you for the follow. And let's move that over here. Cool. Yeah. So essentially this think of this as an MCP client, or you know, like your own chat GPT that you can pull down, but it's not full fledged. That said though, I can ask questions, and I kind of want to give a breakdown of, I guess it's in my talk I linked to, but basically, why would you want to secure something with Pomerium in general? So, like, in a nutshell, Pomerium is what's called an identity aware proxy. This is something that came out of Google in something called the Beyond Corp papers. They had a massive breach in like the 2010s, I think, and they just basically literally rethought security from the ground up. So VPNs, somebody got through on their VPN, I guess, and so now what they do is they have this identity aware proxy, and essentially what this does is, sorry, my voice is a little cracky today. Essentially, in a nutshell, it's an app gateway that's good for securing things, and I'll explain why it's good at securing things. So everything gets proxied through Pomerium, or the identity aware proxy. We're not the only one, but we're, as far as I know, the only open source slash open core one that works on multi cloud. There's others like Google has their own identity aware proxy because, like I said, they invented this, but it's on Google Cloud only. Uh, But that said, anyways, all your requests get proxied through the identityware proxy, and this is good for a few reasons. You essentially have and actually let me just open up the docs here. Hopefully I can find something, and Also, in a nutshell, we are improving the docs. This image is going to change because it doesn't look pretty, but essentially, I'll zoom this in a bit more. This is what an identity aware proxy does in general. This is, in this case, it's Pomerium, but essentially you have users coming from the internet and they want to access some resource. And typically Pomerium is or an identity aware proxy in general is good at securing internal resources. So the difference here is because you're going through the proxy, you're never on the internal network. You're sending requests and getting responses from internal services or apps, but they're always going through the proxy. Whereas when you're on a VPN, uh, even if you can't log into certain services, you're literally on that network where everything is. So, you know, and I think nowadays we all probably know that, there's probably state actors or just yeah, I don't know, maybe disgruntled employees or just like people hacking away. There's just people in your network that shouldn't be in there. So you basically kind of have to assume that. So uh, an identity aware proxy is great for handling this because basically before you can even get through the proxy, there's a couple things. There's the identity provider. So think about like logging in via Google or GitHub or like whatever you use. Those are pretty familiar ones. Um, or it could just be your corporate one, whatever it is. It could be like a custom identity provider too, or Keycloak that a lot of people like. The main point is, and just checking on chat here. Cool. You have to before you can even get to anything. One, if you're not logged in, you get redirected to the login down here. And then once you're logged in, you come back to the proxy, but then there's something called the policy engine. And this is what determines, can you access things? Like you have usual role-based access stuff, like when you log into the identity provider, you'll get some claims back. So it might say like you're part of certain groups. That's one thing. And those can help you in terms of determining if you have access or not. But the policy engine adds an additional layer of checks, and these can be simple checks like, okay, only people with emails with the domain nick at nikki t sorry only with the domain nikki.co can get through. That's like a very simplified example, but the policy engine could have more complex rules in it. You could say like, um, only people on registered work devices can actually go through even if they're able to log in. um, That's pretty common. There could be time-based, like, okay, Nick's logged in, he's on his work computer, but it's Saturday, so, Nick, just log off. Or it could be like you're on call and, you get access to production and so you get access to certain internal services like the database or maybe you have to go to the jump box for like a break glass kind of situation. So with those, you could pull in third-party data like PagerDuty or wherever you have your on call. You can pull that in. So basically, you can have very simple policies, but you can also have very complex policies. And you put that together with, are you logged in or not? And then all of that decides at the proxy level, can they actually go to the internal service? So that's kind of what we do. So I don't know if that's clear or not. I keep working on this explanation because part of my job is explaining it. The the interesting thing about this is it's I find it's very hard to give like a 15-second elevator pitch because this is all based on something called zero trust. This is what Google invented in terms of a security model. So like if I say in 15 seconds, this is identiware proxy that's good at securing your internal services and apps, that is an elevator pitch. But if you have no idea what an identiware proxy is, that's a whole longer conversation. Or if you don't know what zero trust is. So sometimes the elevator pitch is 15 seconds. Sometimes it's like hold my beer kind of, you know. So anyways, that's how we operate. And this is running at what's called layer 7. It's a layer 7 proxy, meaning like we're at the HTTP level. And this is why this fits really well with MCP because MCP They've got streamable HTTP now. They also had server send events as well, but those fit well at that level. So with that said, like there's a few things here. So like I can't even access these. These are all MCP servers that are secured with Pomerium, including the client which I'm in right now. So like I can log out here, and I don't know if we'll get around to building the MCP server today because I did have to explain a bit, but we'll definitely be back at this tomorrow too. But okay, so I'm logged out now. So let's just go to what is it? App.mcp sandbox. So first thing I'm gonna do is like one, I'm even even the MCP client, like the chat GPT like interface that you just saw there, the web app, even that is secured by Pomerium. So what's gonna happen here is I'm gonna log in, and then right now, it's gonna see like is Nick logged in with his Pomerium account. If he is, he can access it, and I'll show you this. Again, this is like a simplified example, but I'm gonna log in with GitHub, and for GitHub, my email is nick@nickyt.co, so I can't even access this. So let's log out. Okay, we're logged out. Let's just go back, and I'm gonna log in with my Pomerium account, and now I'm gonna get access. Now, there's a couple of things here. So, um, I didn't have to log into these MCP servers. Like, typically, if you go to something like Claude, so like if we come over here, let's go to settings. I'll zoom this in here. Yeah, I think today is going to be more about explaining, and maybe we'll start deploying Pomerium, and then I think tomorrow will be like, let's actually build the MCP server. Um, but yeah, so for example, I have those same MCP servers that I was talking about. Um, so we can see here, this is one of the MCP servers secured by Pomerium. You can see in Claude, it's not connected right now, whereas in not this, let's bring that down here. We can see I'm already connected to these. And the reason being is because Uh, basically, they're all secured with Pomerium, but that same login that I did and that the policies they all apply to the MCP servers as well, so I can connect to those immediately. I basically pass a bearer token to those servers when I'm trying to connect to them. And you can see that all in the code here. It's open source. It's probably right in here, actually. Let's go to, where was it? Routes, index. Okay, yeah, sorry, it's in chat. Sorry, let's go back. Components. Oh, no, it's not even there. It's in the route, not route, API route, sorry. So I have this chat route, and you can see here, so I'm getting the bearer token here, and this is actually the JOT that Pomerium provides you. And I'm basically using that same JOT to uh, get access to those secured MCP servers down here. This is basically just looping through the servers we have and passing in the bearer token. And then you can read up more on the OpenAI responses API, but essentially you just create a new client, and I can zoom that in again. And then you're passing in the model. So that's what's from the dropdown that is in the UI. The tools are basically all the tools from all the MCP servers, because we were able to log into them once they get passed. And input is like the prompt. And this is just streaming true, because we want to stream out the answer. Lots of talking today, I know, but these things got to be explained, I guess. So let's do this here now. So like I'm going to connect to the Northwind database. Depending on how long you've been in tech, you might not know what the Northwind database is. It's been like a test database that's been around forever. This, I think Microsoft created it because it was around when I was doing like uh, active server pages, and it's been around since ASP.NET in the early days. And anyways, it's basically a database of like sales, like uh, suppliers and all that stuff. So I can ask questions here, and I'm gonna go get a question because I generated them all. Where is it? Just gotta check in Slack real quick. Up here, and just let me go find them. Yes, find in, and let's say north wind. Except I called it north wind. Thank you for the follow. I'm not on screen, but during Durinator, thanks for the follow. Um, cool. Uh, Let me just get those queries like I was saying, and I'm also gonna just move Slack a little closer in my things here. Okay, and let's look for north wind. Actually, let's just try queries. That's what I pasted. Okay, yeah, here it is. So here's all the queries. I just asked ChatGPT what are some queries that I can get out of here. So we could do stuff like show me all the orders from the customer Vinet. So let's come here, and just to explain what's happening here before I send it off, we're connected to the Northwind MCP server. It's a server sent events server, which is the older. There's also the regular Northwind. We can use that one actually. This is the streamable HTTP one. And I'm going to ask this question now. Here, I'll actually show you in two scenarios. So one, I'm not using any MCP servers. So I'm going to say, show me all the orders from Vinet. It's going to say, okay, so it knows a bit about Northwind, but it's just telling me what to do. Just go get the customer or orders. But this is not actually giving me results. Now I'm going to connect to, if I refresh here, to the Northwind MCP server. This is going to actually provide me, oh yeah, no worries, learner 0418. Come back whenever you can. Um, this is going to connect to the MCP server, and it's going to make tool calls now. So I'm going to ask the same question, and it's going to go, oh, I have some tools, and this seems to be related to it. So I'm going to fire this off. And you can see these tool calls are going to start happening. And you can see, I'll let this finish, but cool. That should have rendered in Markdown. Maybe that's a bug. But you can see here that that same thing it said before, just do this. The tool call actually made this call. So think of the Northwind database as like your some kind of internal service or database that you want to expose. So I was actually able to make a call and say, go get me, you know, uh, all the orders from customer Vinet, and they show up here. Uh, this is a markdown table, so it should show up as markdown because other stuff shows up as markdown, but maybe it's just not framed properly. So that's one thing. And then, like, I could ask another question. So let's do, like, I don't know, what products are currently out of stock? Sure. I'll just try a couple, just having some fun here. Let's redo this. There is no, I got to create a new chat button. Okay, so I don't have, okay, so here, again, this is a perfect example of I don't have access to your current inventory system if you provide me with your product list, etc. So, like we were saying before, MCP servers enhance the context. It gives you additional context. So, let me refresh this. There's a bug where we should be able, after a chat, to be able to re-enable these, but I'm going to enable the Northwind database now. And what this is going to do is it's going to go get that information, which gives additional context to OpenAI in this case, and when it makes its request. So you can see it's making a tool call again, and it's doing selecting the products here. Okay, so the following are currently out of stock. All right. Oh, that's too bad about the gumbo mix. Was really looking forward to that. So that's one thing. So, um, I'm actually going to create a new issue. Actually, we should create a new chat button. So let's do this. Issues, new issue, feature, add a new chat button. Currently, we need to refresh the page to start a new chat. We should have a new chat button instead. Much like most hosted LLMs like Chat GPT and Claude. And I'll just come here and I'll just show like there we go. Cool. And let's put that in here. Actually, I'll unassign myself for now because let's see, label enhancement, boom, create. Cool. There we go. Let's get back to it. Man, Chat GPT's real help. It's almost like a partner to me. Yeah. Yeah, like yeah, no, they're super useful for sure. I think the caveat to using something like Chat GPT or Claude or whatever you're using is, you know, they still can hallucinate. If you're building code with them to, like always be critical of what it returns. But but yeah, I use them every day. So, okay, so let's just refresh this since we don't have a new chat button yet. And cool. And you know what? I wonder we could probably just create the new chat button, but okay. So I'm going to connect to a new one. So before I do this, I just want to explain. So we have access to the GitHub MCP server because these are two that my coworker Dennis created. So the Notion one and the GitHub one. And basically, they're secured with Pomerium. So, like I said, that bearer token gets passed, so we can access them. That's one part of it. But the other thing is, in these particular instances, they're connecting to an upstream service, so GitHub or Notion. So we have to do the OAuth flow there. A nice thing, and this is like honestly, even if you don't care about security, we actually handle the OAuth flow for you. So, like, if we come back to issues here, let's go to the code in the README. Let me get down here. So basically, the existing ones like the Northwind and stuff, we're basically just securing those. And there's a policy right now. It's like only Pomerium, employees can access it. That's one thing. And this is kind of the route. And then we don't show the policy there, but it's part of that too. And that's the whole flow I was talking about before. But if you need to use upstream OAuth, so like in GitHub or Notion, we actually handle that for you. So, like, one pain point we heard at the AI World Fair is, and I heard about this too at the MCP Dev Summit, but like nobody likes to actually implement OAuth in general. Maybe there's some people that love it, but so basically we handle that all for you. So all you need to do is like build your MCP server using probably one of the MCP SDKs like the Go or TypeScript one, but don't worry about the OAuth aspect in the actual server. We'll handle that. So essentially, all you need to do is there's an MCP section in the route config, and just a quick note about routes. So, like I mentioned, it's an identity aware proxy, and so like you can have many routes, and like think of routes not so much like if you've done a lot of front end, don't think of it like an API route or like, like a route like in even in the app I was showing you, the index route, which just loads the home page. These routes are they're still routes, but it's basically routing you to an actual domain. So like from the public facing, my thing would be this like https github dot your domain, but it's actually uh once it goes through the proxy goes to an internal address. So that's the difference. It's not a path per se. It's there can be paths as well, like another route, but like in general, you're just going to a domain and like so think of them as separate apps, and that's why we would call it a app gateway as well. Anyways, like I said, you don't have to implement OAuth in your MCP server if you're using Pomerium. You still need your client ID and secret and the endpoints that and scopes that you might have. These, like in the context of GitHub, for example, you would create a GitHub OAuth app and you would get all this information, but you wouldn't have to handle that whole login flow. Just have to put in that config here, and then we literally handle it. And I'm going to show you that in action now. And let me just go check Slack real quick here. You know, um, cool. All right. Somebody updated the blog. Awesome. Cool. All right. Let's get back to it. Callie's one to I. So like Pomerium only knows about the legitimate account or it runs a check. So um I'm not sure which account you're referring to here, but like I can kind of explain it again, and this diagram might help too. But um, so if you're talking about the account in terms of the OAuth flow, let me just go through it first. Uh, it's Kali Z12I. So I'm logged in as in Pomerium right now to my sorry, I'm logged into my app through Pomerium at the moment. So the chat app is secured by Pomerium. So I logged in, I passed the policy checks. So I'm in now. That same token that allows me to log into here, I can use that to log into my MCP servers. These are all MCP servers that we created, or I should say my coworker Dennis created because I did not. Um, and hey, Fuzzy, how's it going, man? Good to see 5 emojis and getting you in the timeout. So essentially, you can access all these MCP servers, like I mentioned, because that same bearer token, which is the JOT, which is you, it's available here. So that's also how I'm able to say like I'm Nick and this is my email. That's why we say Nick here too. So this all still applies to these two that I'm going to connect to, but let me cough here for a second. Cool. Hopefully yeah, I'm not on mute. Okay. So let's do the flow of connecting to like GitHub, for example. All right. I had already connected to GitHub before, so I guess it's not going to show the flow. But okay, this might because I connected to these yesterday, and by default, the tokens GitHub's token lasts forever, I believe, but the Notion one might have reset. So I'm gonna click on it. We'll see. Hopefully. Okay. So at this point, I have access to the MCP server, but that MCP server needs to connect to Notion because that's what its value is in terms of providing extra context. So I'm on the Notion page for the OAuth flow, and I'm just going to say view pages you select. Sure. Okay, select pages. Let's see. I'll just choose some private ones. So I have these two Scratchpad and SSH sync. Uh, I'm just going to allow those. And then, so that authorizes me. And now, like I mentioned, Pomerium handled that whole OAuth flow. It doesn't look any different than if you were to implement it yourself when you do the OAuth flow, but it's more just to mention that this is something you don't need to implement. Again, you just need to add this config under the MCP section of your particular route. That's an MCP server. So let's come back here now. So now let's see here. I'm going to say create a change log of the SSH proxying feature. Now, I'm not selecting any MCP servers right now, so it's probably going to say, uh, I have no idea what you're talking about. So create a change log of SSH proxying feature based on the SSH sync meeting. It's probably going to tell me, okay, great, just provide me with that. Or did I connect? Did I add it? Okay, no, I did add it. Sorry. Um, I think that's just a UI bug. So you can see here, so I had an actual meeting with some coworkers, and basically from that transcript, just said, can you create a change log? So that's good. Uh, I'm going to try and refine it now. But the thing to convey here is I just got extra context from Notion through the MCP server. So that's nice. Let's see. Can you write it in the style of and tone of, and let's go get one of those, Pomerium. So let me go get one of the changelog posts. Let's do this one. IDP aware tunneling, sure. In the style and tone of existing Pomerium change log posts, e.g. All right. Okay, it didn't make the tool call. I think it must have memory from before, but let's do this again. Let's do this. Of course, this is live, so that's why things don't always work. But here, and I'm gonna do this again. I'm pretty sure it has memory of this because I was testing this yesterday because it's not even making the tool call. So let's refresh this. I'm gonna select it now, and I'm gonna say create a change log of the SSH. Okay, same thing. I just put the whole thing together. So now it's making the tool calls. You can see. Okay, cool. So now it's doing it in the same style, and I'll scroll up in a sec once it's done. Also, side note, but we have SSH proxying coming to Pomerium, so you actually don't need a client, an additional client. You can use native SSH to SSH into uh, SSH, so you can SSH into servers that proxy through Pomerium. So and it's native SSH. So that's just something to be aware of. Yeah, my throat's really rough today for some reason. I think I drank too much coffee yesterday, maybe. But I just want to go through here again. So um, I asked, create the change log of the SSH proxying feature based on the SSH sync meeting I had with my coworkers Joe and Ken. And this has nothing to do with the MCP at this point, this part, but I'm just saying write it in the style and tone of existing posts. And you can see the tool call happens. So it's in progress. It says it completed. So it called a tool from Notion. It fetched a document by ID based on a description. And then basically once that was done, it got that information back. So additional context for the LLM. And then the LLM, which is good at text, as my coworker, or old coworker, Lori Voss says. So it generated a post here for the change log that looks pretty good. We don't. I like how it didn't put a release date or anything because it didn't know. Um, I also didn't specify that it should be the .30 release, but that's fine. But basically, based on the conversation I had with my coworkers, it generated a pretty decent thing. So just to kind of reiterate that flow, all these MCP servers, as well as the MCP client, which is the chat app you see here, they're all secured by Pomerium. So you always proxy through Pomerium. One thing I will mention for people who are unfamiliar with identity aware proxies is it sh- it should be installed at your network edge. That's where Pomerium gets installed. It's self-hosted, so you control your data and everything, and that's why there's like no latency or negligible latency because it's literally at your network edge, and then there's your internal apps. So that's how we get access to all these servers, and then I also showed how we go through the OAuth flow in Notion here, and how Pomerium is what's handling all that. And that's just by adding this config here. My awesome coworker Dennis implemented that. So again, like I was saying, even if you don't care about security, if you want to build an MCP server, it's actually just a lot easier. The other thing I'll mention too is if we go to the model context protocol and we go to security best practices that they have. Here we go. Whoops, wrong page. Security. And we'll see proxy. They actually they don't say it in so many words, but um, you should be proxying uh, to your MCP, actual MCP servers. And a lot of the stuff in the security best practices basically kind of describes what zero trust does, even though they don't explicitly say you should be using an identity aware proxy. Cool. Can't wait till next week. Oh, did you rebook Fuzzy or I didn't see. I can check my email there. All good, all good. Let me just check that real quick. Ba, ba, ba. Cool, cool, cool. All right, that worked. Just gotta check some Slack again real quick here. Cool. Right, that's good. Okay, hope everybody's day is going well. By the way, it's Hump Day Wednesday. I don't know if they say Hump Day anywhere outside of America, North America. I think that's maybe just like a Canadian and American thing. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. Cool, that's good there. Just gotta check something on socials real quick. Cool, that's good. All right. Boom, boom. Cool. All right, let's get back to it. I'll get you set up for rebooking Fuzzy. Essentially, just go to that original link I sent you. Um, I canceled it yesterday because I thought you were gonna rebook before I canceled it, but I canceled it, so that rebook link I sent you. So just go to the original link I sent you. But if you can't find it for whatever reason, I'll send it to you. All right, cool, cool beans. Okay, yeah. So sorry, just catching up on the YouTube chat. So Light saying, "That's great, man. Like you connected Notion with Merriam and it answers accordingly." And I can use it like normal people. Yes, you can. These particular servers right now, they're this is just kind of like our test ground. We use this to demo at the AI World Fair last week. But I also noticed this shouldn't be scrolling there. I think when they added the availables, when they changed the available servers here, I originally had the body scrolling, but this works too, I guess. Um, anyways, so that's kind of how that all works. And so the next things are this isn't in a release yet. It's in our main branch. So like it will be in a release. But for now, I need to, this is what I was thinking. I'll have to pull down the latest from our main branch. I'll need to build it, and then I was gonna deploy this to Um, where was I going to deploy it to? DigitalOcean, and I have to get the certificates set up and stuff. There's a few things, so like that's kind of the game plan. So like if we basically want to do it, like if we go to here, that we don't need, but that's good. But that's essentially this is what I was talking about another time. But let's just do a new one. So let's just do. Sure, I'll save it. Uh, Save to disk. All right, now it's shareable link. That's even better. Export to link. Copy. And if people want to check that out, anyways, this is me in my home lab. This is kind of the idea of what I was going to do. This kind of, well, this is basically what we were showing. I don't have the OAuth flow in there, but that's essentially it. Okay. So it can also be connected to VS Code Lite. That's right. So actually, let's do that before we get started. So let's go to code. No, not code TV. Let's go into the editor. Currently, um, what was I going to say? Currently, only VS Code Insiders supports remote MCP servers. So we'll give a plug there. VS Code Insiders. So this is like a nightly build, and people might be like, "Oh, nightly build. I don't want to grab that," but it's actually very stable, and you basically get newer features quicker. I've rarely had issues with insiders. I think the last issue I might have had was maybe like 2 years ago, honestly, and it was like a UI glitch, and then like the next day it was good, or I think they might have even fixed it that day. But anyways, cool. Yeah, so we need VS Code insiders. And if we come back here, do I have it in there? Okay, I do. Okay, I'm gonna show you the flow just so we don't. Okay, so let's get rid of this whole section. Cool. All right, and let's get some real estate here. Okay, boom. All right, cool. And let's close that. Let's just close everything. Don't save. Don't save. Okay. Let me zoom in. So, uh, basically, what you want to do is you want to do Command Shift P, and you're going to choose MCP Add Server, and you have different options here. So, like, I'm not sure if this is in code. Actually, let's go check in VS Code first. I know remote MCP servers aren't supported in code yet, or the ones that do like a login flow. But let's just see here. MCP. Okay, so add server. Yeah, so it doesn't. Okay, that's it. Connect to a remote HTTP server that implements the MCP. Okay, so Insiders supports more MCP server types. So I'm in generally in here anyway. So let's add a server. And okay, I guess maybe it already landed in VS Code now. I don't know. Anyways, so I'm gonna paste in the URL, and I'm gonna press enter, and I'll call it Northwind, and we're gonna save it in user settings because I just want it used everywhere. So I can't zoom this in because that's native UI here, but basically what's gonna happen now, it's gonna ask me, do you want to authenticate? So basically I have to go through the login flow with Pomerium. This is something my coworkers working on right now. This is this issue, I believe. Is it pull requests? It does work. He when we were debugging this at the AI World Fair, he got it working, but he has a PR up for it now. So let's just look for author Wasaga. Okay, looks like it just got merged. So let's, where the heck is it? Let's just look for MCP. Let's do state, because we actually got these errors during not issue. Why am I looking up issues? I did not mean to look up issues. Okay, yeah, so the PR is still open. He's just fixing some things there, but he had a local version when we were testing this, but uh, and this is just in the case of how we're handling it. Uh, Mind you, others might have issues with this too, maybe. I'll drop it in the chat though for anybody interested in Go code. And there we go. Cool. All right. But there's all kinds of other MCP servers actually. And if we go to, I think we just dropped a blog post on some of those. Where's the blog? I always get lost where our blog is. We're reworking our website. Yeah. So you can check this out if you want. This is obviously subjective, but uh, here's some MCP servers to check out. And where did my Twitch chat go? There we go. Cool. All right. So we could try, I don't know. We could do the playwright one. Ideal for Q&A, scraping and testing end-to-end workflows, or Sentry give access to Sentry error tracking performance telemetry. Cool. Uh, let's add the GitHub MCP server actually. I could have sworn I added this already, but all right. What's the URL though? Okay, so this is different. Right now you have to, okay, because this is a local one, I think. That's why. I don't think it's remote. Um, anyways, you can add them. And like I said, the ones we're testing, they'll be working in VS Code Insiders soon. Like I said, we debugged it at the AI World Fair. Okay, so yeah, essentially, actually, I don't need Excalibur. Um, yeah, essentially, I need to pull down latest of Pomerium. I need to build it, and so this is the first time I'll be deploying Pomerium Core. There's like a Docker image, but this is like I gotta build it and then deploy it. I've typically been using Pomerium Zero, which is another offering we have, which just makes it really easy. You get like a managed control plane, but for the MCP stuff, it's in the core right now, and it's only in the main branch. So um, it's hard to believe, but I've only been here since January 13th. So like I'm still ramping up on stuff, but this will be the first time actually doing a deploy of Pomerium Core. So I'm sure something is going to go wrong because it's a live stream, but that's all good. All right. So first things first, let's get into code and let's open up core. So let's do I have Pomerium here? Yeah. Okay, dev word Pomerium. Cool. Why is the Explorer all the way over there? Okay, cool. Let's open this up. Let's do a git pull. I'm on main. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Cool. And let's close that. And we don't need the sidebar. And let's do README, preview. Okay, C contributing. Sure. Okay. 404. That's still 404. Uh, Let me take note of that. There was a big revamp of docs This is a food festival in Montreal for anybody wondering what I'm looking at there. Bu- 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 Okay. Uh, Page 404s from Pomerium repo. Okay. Could have sworn we fixed this, but um, okay. So basically, I need to build the Docker build, I believe. So let's see here. Uh, bu- 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 P Docker file. Okay. So I do need to build this. This will grab everything. So it's gonna, let's see here. It's using, okay, there's UI too, I guess. It's gonna build it with Go 1.24. Environment data auto cert workdir copy. Okay, so I need to build this. So it's a Docker build, and this is where I have to read up. But we could call this just Pomerium, I guess. I'm actually curious what the dash T is. I'm I know some Docker stuff. I'm slowly getting better at it. I've used a lot of Docker Compose and all that stuff. Um, cool. Let's see here. Let's just ask here. Uh, what is Docker dash T? I could look up the docs, but it's not a universal. Okay, yeah, just the name of the image. So it tells Docker to allocate a sudo. Okay, sure. Inside the container. Okay, notes. Some name is the T there means tag, and it's tags the image. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I was on the right track there. So let's do this. Ugh. Slept well, but I don't know. Still a little tired, I guess. Okay, let's let that build. Uh, All right. Okay, we'll let that go. What's everybody else working on, by the way? Cali Z 12i. What do you get up to? I know what Fuzzy's been kind of working on. Let's see. Okay, so Light over on YouTube saying I started C++ recently. Probably try my luck in competitive programming and also aiming for HFTS. I'm not from a target school, so I gotta grind hard. Okay. I don't even know what HFTS is. I know what C++ is. I did C++ my first year university, but then they promptly switched to Java. I'm a little older, so I think Sun Microsystems they got all those machines at school, and they basically just I think they just went with managed memory languages, probably because of that Sun Microsystems deal. I'm guessing. They were really nice aesthetically. They were really nice machines, all white with like I think it was monochrome yellow. HFT, high frequency trading firm. Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay. All right. So C++ and money. Wow. Okay. Cool. Okay, so this built, I don't even know where it built it, to be honest. Let's see, where does a Docker build go? In bin, I'm guessing. Okay, Pomerium. Okay, so that's the Docker build. Okay, now let's just go to the docs. I know our docs need to be improved. We got a comment from somebody like, "Hey, these are crap," kind of something along those lines. We're reworking like even the website right now. It's already got some improvements, but I do know we need to work on our docs. So let's go to docs. Quick start. Okay. So yeah, we need Docker and Docker Compose, obviously. So we can go to DigitalOcean and create a droplet with that. And then, okay, this is zero though. We don't want that quick start. Um, self-managed core. That's what we want. Okay. So this is where I'm going. All right. So yeah, fundamentals. Yeah. So yeah, we can create a Docker compose file, I guess. Um, yeah. So the config YAML that I'm not worried about. Yeah, we got the proxy, authentication, authorization, data broker. Now I'm gonna deploy this without a database. It'll use in memory by default. You can put a database in after, I guess, but or we could use a DB. We'll see. So set up Docker Compose. So this is what I'm curious is I don't have an official image right now because this is what I built locally. S- Let's see here. Chat GPT, help me out. Okay. So I'm deploying Pomerium and they have official, yeah, let me zoom this in, images, but I'm building the Docker image from the main branch and need to SCP it to a digital ocean droplet. How do I reference the built image I made in a compose.yaml, not compost? Oh yeah, all good, Cali Z12I, no worries. Appreciate you being here. How do I reference the built-in image I made in a compose.yaml, e.g. here's with official images. This is me just learning Docker better. Yeah, so I'm gonna SCP it. Okay, Docker build. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna call it MCP. So let's do this. Gonna rebuild it, and we'll just call it. Delete that. Okay, did it do it already? All right. Hold on a sec. Come here, MCP. Why did it do that so fast? Force. Um, how do I force a rebuild of the image? No cache. No cache. All right. All right, and let's get rid of that. And boom. Okay, we'll let this go. Okay, while that's building, so I'm gonna say, okay, once you've loaded it in the droplet, update the compose.yaml. Okay, I don't need, yeah, I know I don't need to push Docker Hub or anything is, okay, so I guess it should be in the same directory as the compose.yaml. The verify, that's okay to have like that. That's good. And then I have to have my config.yaml. Okay. That seems pretty straightforward. And I need to use auto cert. I also need auto cert. Yeah, so auto cert is fine in compose. Yeah, okay, cool. Where's the, oh yeah, sorry, the config.yaml. Yeah, exactly. So we want that. Okay. And you need to make sure the is correct. Your domain points to the droplet. Yeah, that. Okay, we'll sort all that out. Cool. Uh, let's check here. Cool. All right. Doing a time check here. I got to stand up in 40 minutes, so can probably go another 35 minutes here. Started a little late just because just getting back in the swing of things. I've been enjoying the traveling. It's been great going to the conferences, but yeah, just been on the road, so just haven't been been able to stream. It's like I don't know about other people that stream, but like I wouldn't stream from my hotel or anything, mainly because the Wi-Fi is not necessarily solid. You know, I could tether to my phone, but um, I don't know. I mean, I have a good data plan, but like still, it's not the same. Like back home here, I'm lucky enough to have like a 1 gigabit upload download. So, anyways, cool. Let's just check over there. Okay. All right. So that built, or it should have built. Where did my VS Code go? Okay. Um, where did that go? Build no cache, Pomerium :MCP. Rip grep Pomerium MCP. Oh, I don't have rip grep on here. Okay. Where the heck did this file go? ls minus la bin. Nothing's in there. Okay. Let's see here. The first time I Docker build it, put it in a bin folder, but now it um, no longer creates the Docker build with, let's get it over here. Where was the command? Yeah, copy it there. Yeah, or yeah, I guess I should just say, where does the Docker image build. Okay, so that thing I saw was something else then. The resulting image is stored in your local Docker engine. Okay, that's stuff I'm learning today. I'm sure there's a lot of people that already know Docker and like, duh, but like, all right, cool. So then we could do here grep MCP. Okay, 4 minutes ago, 11. Okay, at Pomerium. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so it's there. So, okay. I see the image. How do I SCP it? Perfect. If you see the image in Docker images, you're ready to go. Okay, sorry, I missed that part. I gotta export it. Okay, so there we go. Uh, boom. Okay, so that makes sense. And then now I should have there. Cool. View and reveal in Finder. Let's just move that to my uh, downloads. Cool. All right, so I've got that. The config YAML build, I have an example. Okay, so let's go over to DigitalOcean. Okay, so what specs do I need on DigitalOcean to run Pomerium and an MCP server that is pretty lightweight? The verify app, our MCP demo app that is here. Boom. And an MCP server that is pretty lightweight. So is in memory fine for now? Or should I go Postgres for the data broker? Okay, so basic 2 GB. Okay, so let's go to DigitalOcean. Don't think I have anything that I need to hide, but just in case any sensitive work stuff shows up in the DigitalOcean login, I'm going to just put it to just my mug format, just so just so that I can sort this out. I'll just get a droplet. Cool, cool. Okay, now the chat works. Okay, cool, cool. Test. Okay, nice. Cool. I can see the chat in there then. That's good. Okay, so let me just log in here. So essentially what I'm doing right now is I'm going to create a droplet based on the specs they recommended. So let's do this and we're going to create droplet. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything I need to hide here, but um, just says Pomerium on the side. So I think we're good. Let's bring it back. So So let's see here. Droplets of virtual machines, blah, blah, blah. Oh, got some CSS issues here. Z-index. Okay, let's go New York or Toronto's closer, I guess, but yeah, sure. Let's do Toronto. Create droplet. I gotta zoom this out. Okay, so I didn't actually check what I got here. Power. No, wait, hold on a sec. Okay, yeah. What did it say I needed? One virtual CPU and 2 GB. Okay, I think I might have created too big. We can resize if not. Let's see here. Resize. Disk, CPU, RAM. Okay, 4 GB and 2 virtual CPUs. Here, hold on a sec. Let me turn this off. You know what? Let's just keep this actually. Okay, that's good. And this would be good to test the SSH feature that we have, but that's on another branch at the moment, so I can't do that. But let's see here. Okay, that's where that is. And let's see, what do we got for networking? Okay, enabling up to, okay. Okay, this is created. It's been a minute here. Let me go check chat real quick. Okay, that's still good. All right, cool. Ba, 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 ba. All right, let's just bring it back here for a second. Okay, so I've got my tar file. I need to create my config. Let's see here. That would just be on my local hosts. Just gonna open up existing one I have here. Pretty sure. Let's come back here. Let's open up my other project. So let's do this. Palm scripts. Is that not in here? Cool. So, uh, do I have my stuff up there? Certificates, cookie domain. Okay, yeah, I have that stuff in environment variables. So essentially, let's create a new project maybe. Uh, Let's just create a new file. Let's paste this in and we'll change this to YAML. And let's just, okay, we'll do that. Postgres, cookie domain. This, what did I say it was going to be? Let me go check that over on pork bun. I think it was demo dot. Here, give me one sec. This will go off screen, but um, pork bun. Let's sign in. There we go. Continue. Sign in. Passkeys for the win. All right. Oh yeah, it was my Maison Lab, I believe. Okay, yeah. So this is what the domain will be. So my maisonlab.dev, that's my home network, sorry, my home lab. So for those that don't speak French, maison is house, lab, so uh, home lab kind of, or maison is house or home. Anyways, so that's what that's gonna be. Actually, let's do this. Oh yeah, sorry, not using you right now. Continue, and you hijacked the Command Shift L, but also cursor does that too. So that's not on you. Continue. Okay, let's do this. Let's replace all. Boom. Okay, now the certificate files I won't need because we have auto cert. Don't need SSH config right now because I'm not in that branch. Okay, Postgres. This I'm not sure how I'm gonna connect because this is using the official image. So let's just, that might be in my image too, but let's just comment that out for now. Okay, hotel, um, exporter endpoint, um, could add Jaeger to, I have Jaeger in here, so we don't have the console. Let's get rid of that. That's the enterprise console. We're just doing core. And let's check le Slack. Oh, uh, yeah. Just answering a Slack messenger. All right, cool. Hey, what's going on, Danny? Good to see you, my man. Um, we're not done yet, but basically, we started. TLDR here is going to be deploying an MCP server, uh, but for the time being, kind of. That's okay. I can be Nick CT. Um, anyways, good to see you, Danny. Always good to see you. Yeah, basically, I just kind of walked through what Pomerium was initially at the beginning of the stream, just explaining zero trust and how we handle the OAuth flow for you if you're building an MCP server with us. Uh, right now, our MCP support is in our main branch of Pomerium. So I just created a Docker build for that image, and then I gzipped it. I'm gonna copy that over to a DigitalOcean droplet, and I'm right now I'm just doing the configuration here, and this is a Pomerium configuration, and it'll also have an MCP server that we secure with it, and I won't be able to get to building the MCP server today because I have stand up in like 20 minutes, but tomorrow we'll be building the actual MCP server. It might be, I think I'll start off first with like my coworker Dennis has some that exist already. So I'll deploy one that exists first and then we can try and build one. But yeah, for I'm assuming most people know who Danny is, but Danny's a buddy of mine. He's working over at this dot labs. If you haven't checked out this dot, they're I'm gonna grab their whatchamacallit, their handle on Twitch. I think it's just Twitch this dot labs. Is this it? Yeah. Uh, I think they just started streaming on Twitch recently, but go give them a follow. They've been building out. I know Rob and I think it's Elliot. They've been working on building out some MCP servers, so check that out. Cool. So yeah, so basically at this point, I got yeah. Let's get back to building the config here. So if people haven't seen this config before, okay, AI workflows, cool. You using Mastra for that, or are you using something else? I know there's a bunch out there, but yeah, gonna be hanging with Tejas Kumar on the Pomerium live stream. We're gonna be talking about Langflow. I haven't used it yet, so curious to see that. And yeah, and my old coworker Lori from Llama Index, we're gonna be hanging too. Gonna learn about Llama Index, so lots of exciting stuff. That's on my work live stream, not this one, but all right. So let's leave the hotel config for now. I'm probably just gonna put this all on the same IP for now, but we'll leave this as local host. Don't need the certificate file. We want to pass the identity headers. So this is going to be, we don't need this. We can do Pomerium, but also I'll add nikkit.co for the, so this is the policy here. This is a very simple policy, but these can be more complex. Like I said, you can add time-based, you can do kind of almost pretty much anything you want to do. You can pull in third-party data too, but let's just copy this and let's do this. And let's do this. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, the SSH we don't need. We NAN, we don't need that right now. Dino, okay, we just need the MCP server down here. So let's just do that. Okay, let's get rid of all this. And there's the north wind. Okay, that's cool. That's essentially what the config is going to be. I'll update the localhost to IP addresses once I have those. Let's see what else. Okay, cool. I gotta check out that replay, Danny, of the workflows. Uh, cool. That's essentially. I'm still gonna tweak this, but let's save this. Save. We'll do downloads. We'll just call it config.yaml. Yes, I want to allow. So we're going to copy these two over and let's go to the compose.yaml. It should just be compose.yaml, shouldn't it? Anyways, so we got the verify service there. Okay, I guess I can pull Postgres latest Jaeger. That's good. Okay, we don't need. Let me just create a new copy. And then we'll just do, this is YAML 2. Okay, we definitely want to verify app. The ports will, I'll set all that after volumes because we want it to be read only. Okay, I don't think we need that. I'll have to, actually, if we go back to the Pomerium docs. Okay, so at a minimum, that's all we need. We've got Pomerium and the verify. Yeah, okay, I can just do latest. So this should just be that. Okay, that should be good. Image Postgres, container name, Pom Postgres, that sounds good. Grab those. Postgres port, data, sure. PG is ready. Okay. Jaeger. You know what? We're gonna simplify this for now. Let's forget Postgres. We'll just do the in memory. Don't need version from what I remember. So verify Jaeger. Uh, Toto get right IP address for Jaeger. Cool. Command shell web spider. Ba, ba, ba. Cool. We're not going to use NAN for now. We don't need these. Yeah, we can call it Palm Network. Okay, I think that seems good. Save, and we'll just do that as downloads. Compose.yaml. Cool. Uh, so Pomerium. Oh, well, we also need to run Pomerium. The reason why I don't have it in here right now is because I was doing it. I was building from source on my local. So let's see. Let's come back here. Where was I? Chat GPT. Okay. Do. Where is it? Find Pomerium dot colon MCP. Yeah. Where's compose? Where'd my compose YAML go? Okay, here. So this is what we want to add, and we'll need these. Cool. Let's put that at the top. Okay, how's this look? I don't have the IP yet, but whoops, stop. Edit, boom. There. Send it. Cool. Do. Gonna wrap up in a few minutes here. Just doing quick check. Cool. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Volumes, image, latest. Okay. Expose only marks the port visible to other servers on the server, not to your host. No, I don't want to expose it. You don't need to hard bind Jaeger to unless you want to isolate it for droplet. Like one. Okay. Cool. Can you update the compose.yaml with your suggestions? That's true. I don't have to worry about the IP. That was just because locally and also like in my home lab, I had specific IP addresses. Okay. You okay, ChatGPT? You're chugging along there. Okay, well, we'll let that go. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so we want ports. Um, Yeah, so these do need to be ports because that needs to be exposed to the host. The verify can be exposed. No, as it's just going to be accessed via Pomerium proxy, or does it have to be visible on the host Pomerium to route to it? Yeah, okay. So yeah, so then okay. There we go. Update it, please. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's good. Those need to be exposed. Verify. Sorry, it sounds funny to say, but the ports need to be exposed. So that's why for Pomerium, it's ports, but for expose, we don't want to expose it to the host, which is weird. Uh, the naming's weird, in my opinion. So this will only be available in when I access it in Pomerium. I'm going to access it via HTTP colon slash slash verify colon 8000. Um, let's see, Jaeger. Jaeger, I imagine, is okay to use expose to, or I guess Pomerium needs to see it as it's set in the config. Okay, so how does, yeah, okay. Inside the Docker, so expose is sufficient for this. Prim just needs to reach port 431. You do not need to ports 431 unless you, okay. Does the Jaeger UI need to be visual? Jaeger browser, Jaeger should only be visible via Pomerium, not directly in the browser. Cool. Okay, so just expose. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Jaeger. Okay, cool. I won't need this because there'll be a policy, but uh, cool. Let's just say, okay, generate the whole config again. And I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. Tomorrow, we'll copy this to do a secure copy to the DigitalOcean droplet. We'll configure the domain so that we can resolve our routes, and we'll test that first. And then if that's all good, then we'll go ahead and we'll deploy our first MCP server. I'll just go with one that my coworker Dennis built already. And then if we have time, I'll look at creating one from scratch, or if we don't have time, maybe Friday we'll do that. So, anyways, thanks for hanging, everybody, and we will see you in the next one. And I'll just go ahead and drop the schedule if people want to check that out. And now I'll really see you next time.